It's top of the hour, high noon in the east and 11 a.m. in the Hennepin County Government Center, where the jury that will be the ultimate deciders of the fate of Derek Chauvin are on the mid-morning break, a well-earned mid-morning break. They'll be out for another 10, 15 minutes or so. And of course, as soon as they're back into the courtroom, we'll get you back in as well. There's the seal. We've got our cameras inside that courtroom, and you won't miss any of it. With me, Chanley Painter from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Court TV legal correspondent, and our morning anchor, field anchoring our coverage from Minneapolis, and Kelly Hyman. Let's pick up where we left off. Chanley, Eric Nelson is doing a masterful job, as we've seen before with other witnesses, using the state's witnesses on cross to develop a conversation with very obvious questions that the answer is yes every time. And he sets it up with, well, this happened, this was a Tuesday, correct? Yes. And then that's how he starts, and then he just goes. The way that he's lulled Jody Steiger into a comfortable position, you can watch it. I mean, he started stiff, and now it's like these two guys are old friends.
Yes, Eric Nelson is on a roll this morning. You are correct. And it makes it easy to follow, easy to listen to. He's covering a lot of ground so far in cross-examination and getting affirmative responses from the prosecution's use of force expert. That's the star witness for the prosecution. And again, like I mentioned a bit earlier, he's a rookie. This is his first trial, an international trial, that he's testifying as an expert, a paid expert for another jurisdiction. And maybe that's another reason why he's saying yes and agreeing to so many questions on cross-examination, maybe due to the lack of his experience. But he will stand up occasionally, though, Ted, especially when Nelson tried to play a part of the body cam and wanted him to agree to something that he thought George Floyd was saying in the prone position, something about I ate too many drugs. But he wouldn't agree to that. So there are some limits to what he's saying. But I'm also surprised that we're not hearing more objections from the prosecution, just to break up this flow that, like you said, has been quite masterful.
Yeah, let's listen to that moment, that piece of tape where Eric Nelson wants you to hear George Floyd saying, I ate too many drugs. What did you hear? Listen.
Even just in the immediate kind of wingspan, that can be very chaotic, right?
Yes.
People can be talking to each other. People can be talking over each other, right?
Yes.
The suspect may be saying some things, right?
Yes.
Bystanders may be saying some things, right?
Yes.
In the chaos, it's easy to miss some things, right?
In certain instances, yes, depending on the severity of what's going on.
I'd like to publish part of the body-worn camera. It's Officer King's body-worn camera, starting at 20:21:01. I'd like you to see if you can tell me what Mr. Floyd says in this instance.
I ate too many drugs. Please. I ate too many drugs. Please.
You hear what he said?
No, I couldn't make it out.
Does it sound like he says, I ate too many drugs? Listen again.
I ate too many drugs. Please.
I can't make that out, no.
So in the chaos of a situation, things can be missed, right?
Yes.
Kelly, he gets that out there, and whether or not Steiger thinks he heard it, one of the jurors might have. Some of the jurors might have. Didn't he used Steiger to get that out, that clip, and this idea that that's what he said?
Yes, no, absolutely. When I first heard the tape, I heard, please stop, please stop. I didn't hear anything in the middle. And then when he said, well, did you hear him say that I ate too many drugs? And then you're listening again and you're saying, oh, I guess that's what he said. It was a very, very smart move by the defense. And I'm wondering why the prosecution didn't kind of have some kind of objection to it.
Yeah, it happened so fast. I think that, there was a time, and clearly, to Chanley's point, he was on a roll because he had him answering a different question. The question was, things are chaotic, you missed something. Oh, here's kind of a quick example. I ate too many drugs. And I didn't hear it either until he put it in your head, and then you think you hear it. So a masterful job there. The question is, where do you go, Kelly, now that you're down to the point of he is passed out and the knee's still on the neck? Does Eric Nelson explore that, or will he cut off his crosshair right to that point, because his narrative is taking us through Chauvin's mind all the way to this point. What do you think we're going to see here in the next few minutes?
I think he is. I think he's going to try and ask him questions to help prove his point that what he did was reasonable in the circumstances. And so I think he's going to go as far as possible.
Yeah, and Chanley, this technique, you know, we see it in different forms in courtrooms, but to your point earlier, usually when you feel someone getting on a roll and all eyes and everybody's listening, and what Nelson has going for him, we've already seen the video. The jury's already seen the video, so he's describing the video that we've all seen, so you're all just sitting there, but no objections.
Yeah, which surprises me because I've been in the courtroom 3 times and I've seen Slisher stand and make an objection that was out of nowhere just to object, and he'll make compound objections sometimes just to stop Eric Nelson on a roll. So I'm surprised we didn't see that so far this morning on the cross-examination. Even yesterday, he objected to leading on cross-examination, when that's what you do on cross-examination, is you lead the witness to where you want to go, which is what we're seeing Eric Nelson do with this expert.
At the heart of this, Kelly, doesn't the defense have an advantage in that these officers who are testifying against an officer are careful not to testify against the profession? So Nelson is doing a good job of bringing up questions about reasonable force that are not necessarily specific to this case, and he's getting positive responses because at the end of the day, most times when officers are in courtroom settings like this, they're defending a fellow officer.
No, that's very true. It's rare that you see, an officer saying that someone used excessive force. But, that's what the officer said in this situation. So, Ted, no, you bring up a really good point. He's very mindful about what he says. And the point is, yeah, at a certain point, he'll ask some questions. And if he doesn't agree to it, he will say, well, no, I don't agree with that. So I'm really interested to see what kind of questions, where the defense counsel goes next.
And Chanley, where does the state go next in terms of when you look at the witness list? I mean, we're getting some intel, but not much from the courtroom in terms of who's coming next. Is this the end of the experts of use of force? Are we expecting a pivot to maybe the medical experts?